Hello and welcome to the Ridiculous Report. Tonight's story is I took a job house sitting in the mountains. The homeowner left one rule: never open the freezer. This all happened back in 2021 during one of the lowest points in my life. It always does, doesn't it? Always does. I had just lost my job, broken up with my girlfriend of 5 years, and was barely keeping my head above water emotionally or financially. So when a friend offered me a house sitting gig in Colorado, 2 weeks, all expenses covered, just keep the place from falling apart. I didn't even ask questions. I was told the homeowner was a wealthy, eccentric guy in his 60s. He'd be out of the country. The house was secluded up in the mountains near a town called Nederland, not far from Boulder. I'd be alone with nothing but silence and snow. Honestly, that sounded perfect. When I got there, the place was beautiful, remote, rustic, massive. A 2-story log cabin with giant windows and a wood stove that crackled like it was straight from a movie. There was even a library. Floor to ceiling bookshelves filled with dusty old hard covers, most of them unread. The man had money, that was clear. There was one thing. When I arrived, there was a note in the kitchen island. Handwritten in perfect block letters. It said, "Welcome. You're free to go anywhere in the house. Help yourself to food, books, wine, wherever you need. Just one thing. Do not open the garage freezer under any circumstances." That was it. No explanation, no threat, just a rule. Naturally, I laughed, thought it was a joke, some weird quirk. Rich people and their don't touch my bourbon energy, but it was strange, especially when the freezer was a giant locked chest model in the garage. An old industrial one with heavy latches and a padlock that looked ancient. Still, I wasn't there to pry. I was there to drink wine and read books and forget my life was in shambles. Or so I thought. On day 3, that's when things started to feel wrong. At first, it was little things, scratching sounds in the walls, doors creaking open on their own, which I wrote off as drafts. But then I noticed the freezer had frost on the outside, not normal condensation. I'm talking about thick white ice forming along the edges like the thing was struggling to contain something. Worse, the garage was warm. I checked the thermostat, 65 degrees. I even touched the walls. Room temperature. But the freezer was so cold, the floor around it was freezing, literally. Ice had started creeping along the concrete. And that night, I swear to God, I heard it humming. Not like a motor hum, like a voice. A low, vibrating hum. Constant. Just enough to make your teeth feel funny. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it. This massive, humming block of ice in the next room. Like it was calling to me. Then on day 5, I almost opened it. I was standing in front of it at 2 a.m. barefoot, freezing, staring at that padlock like it was some kind of challenge. I can't explain it. I didn't want to open it, but something in my brain kept saying, just take a peek, just once. That's when I noticed the smell. Something sharp, metallic, like rusted coins and ammonia. It was leaking out from under the lid. I gagged, backed off, and went inside. The next morning, there were footprints in front of the garage door, or on the garage floor. Not mine. They were bare, human, and leading away from the freezer. I left the lights on for the rest of the trip. The power went out, no storm, no warning, just darkness. That was on day 7, and the hum got louder. The whole house was dead silent. No heat, no fridge, no internet, except for the low frequency hum coming from the garage, like it was still running or something else. Something old. I wrapped myself in 3 blankets, lit candles, and sat in the library praying it would stop. That's when the scratching started again. Not in the walls, at the door. The garage door creaked slowly like someone was trying to open it inch by inch. I grabbed a fireplace poker and stood there, frozen, listening. Then it stopped. Next morning, I checked the door. There were fingernail scratches on the inside. On day 9, I finally broke. I called the homeowner, said, I don't know what I expected. An explanation, maybe, or at least some reassurance that I wasn't losing my mind. He didn't answer the first time. But a few hours later, I got a call from a blocked number. I picked up. All I heard was, you didn't open it, did you? Not hello, not how are things going, just that. He was silent for a few seconds. Then he said, good, because I only ever left that freezer locked twice before. The first time was in 1987. I came back to find the walls covered in blood. The second time, I didn't come back at all. A neighbor called the police. They found something, but not what I put in there. You're doing fine. Just a few more days. Don't talk to it. Don't feed it. Don't listen to what it tells you. You're good. Then he hung up. On day 11, I'd made it through 2 more nights. Slept maybe a total of 3 hours. The lights were still out. My phone was dying. I ate canned soup cold and showered in water that felt like glass shards. I thought I could last. I really did, until that last night. Around 1:30 a.m., I woke up to whispers. Not in my head, not from a dream. Real whispers. Coming from under the door that led to the garage. I grabbed the poker again, and I crept closer. The whisper stopped. And then from the other side, the voice said, it's not as bad as he said. I'm cold. So cold. Please, just for a second. It sounded like a little girl, maybe 10 years old, crying, I'm hungry. He left me. Please, please help me. I was crying now too, because I wanted to help. I wanted to. Everything in me screamed that I should just unlock it and see what was inside, but I didn't. I sat there on the floor all night shaking and whispering prayers I hadn't said since I was 12. By morning, the voice was gone. So was the frost, so were the footprints. Afterwards, when he came back, the power came back on in the morning. I left. My phone buzzed back to life. The freezer was still locked, still humming. The homeowner returned a week later. I never saw him again. The house was delisted, the number disconnected. But a few months ago, I was scrolling Reddit and I came across a thread. What's the creepiest thing you've ever found while remodeling? One guy posted a photo. It was a chest freezer, half open in the corner of a demolished garage. Inside, there was a small child-sized dress, frozen stiff, covered in frost. And written on the inside of the lid, in a fingernail scratches, was one word. Hungry. Now for some comments. Don't feed it. Don't talk to it. Don't listen to what it tells you. This is why I never house sit anything again. Another one. This reads like a Stephen King short story, but real and worse. Next one. The worst part of this was the little girl's voice. That line hit me to the soul. I'm so cold. Another one. I was literally under a blanket with tea and still felt like I was freezing reading this. Ooh. And then lastly, wait, they didn't find what I put in there? That line sent me into orbit. All right, tell me what you think. Tell everyone what you think about this story. Write it down in the comments below, and I will see you again next time. Have a great one. Bye-bye.